Hey everybody, it's Sarah Gallagher. I hope you can see everything all right. I am here. I am so glad to meet you. I have to say, I got to get myself off here. I am actually looking at. I have the YouTube up at the same time to make sure that technically everything's okay. Thankfully, it is. So first of all, thank you for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it. I am really so pumped. I have been putting this together for a while now, and I just can't get over how much information you guys got back to me with the surveys, with the DMs. I'm gonna move this. Hang on there with the surveys, with the DMs, with all the information you gave back to me. I want to make sure that this is for you. This group is for you. That's why I created this. I want to make sure that you are cool and you're comfortable and you're relaxed. I am so glad to meet you. I am getting a cup of coffee for myself, just to let you know. So when it goes off, I'm going to have to run because, resilience thing really quick, guys. If you want a really quick resilience training, and we're going to be talking about this later on, get a cup of either cold water or get a cup of hot water and hang on to it. It is absolutely amazing at calming down your nervous system. It activates your parasympathetic nerve and it really helps ground you. It's a really quick thing. Some people like hot things, some people like cold things. This is why I'm getting a cup of coffee because we are going to dive into so much information. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start sharing what we have in store. And I'm going to bring on two people from our team as well. We have Jennifer here and we have
Hello.
Rachel. I promise you'll have a chance to meet them both when we talk later on. At least we can get the right thing here. Okay. Can we do this? There we go. Okay. So I am going to be really quickly as soon as it beeps. And actually, no, give me a second. I'm going to put you off. I'm going to go back to the main the slide. I have to grab my coffee, guys. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Doop. Hang on. I got to start through this. See, I'm all screwed. This is why I need my freaking coffee. Okay, I'm going to put you guys away. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I think I'm back. I'm a bit more together now. Let's say hi. Hi guys. How are you?
Good. How are you, Sarah?
I am peaking, but I'll explain why in a sec. Really quick, how are you, Rachel?
Yeah, I'm okay. All right.
Good. All right. Good. I'm all right. So I just want to let you know right now, I am a coffee snob. I'm not sure if you can see this. This is called like an arrow foot press. So I was actually on my back for about 6 weeks. Actually, no, 4 out of the 6 weeks with the cast on my leg, and I became a coffee snob. And this is an AeroPress. It keeps everything together. You push down the coffee. It's like a little tiny espresso maker for one. I love it. That makes me feel special. And it's the one thing I got to myself for the past 6 months. And I am so damn proud of this. Like, how often you get things for yourself, right? Anyway, I am going to stop sharing right now. Guys, I am so glad to meet you. As you're here, if you come in, do let me know that you are here. I would love to see more of you if you come in. If you're here for the live, do put it in the comments. As we're going through, we will see the comments and we'll get back to you. If you are here for the replay, do put replay as well. I want to make sure I know that you are here. The reason why this is important is because at the end of the session, I need to go back. I'm going to respond to any of your questions that we have not responded to live. And then in the replay, I will respond to it then when you comment on it. Okay. This is going to be on YouTube. So you can come by and you can watch it anytime you want. You can comment on it. We'll get back to you about anything. The other really important thing that I want to make sure you get is that if you are live or a replay, once you know that I know that you are here, you are going to get a free resource. So I've reached out to quite a few of you recently. I have an idea of what you guys want. I'm going to give it to you, but I need your input, which is the third thing. If at any point you hear something that resonates with you, if you hear something you want more questions of, put the questions to the very end. We will get to them, I promise. But you need to watch to the very end to get them. You also have to stay to the very end because that's why I'm going to be announcing what exactly is going to be in store for the next sessions. And then some really fast bonus actions if you want to get in before the doors close. We will go through everything. I just want to make sure that you're here to the end because that's when you're going to find out everything you need to know and why you should jump on now to get part of it. And I'm sorry, guys, it sounds like a sales pitch. It is not. This is something that's honestly, it's life-changing. I'm not selling shoes. These people are here not to tell you lies, or we know you're vulnerable. We know you've been scammed. We know that your trust has been dissolved. We aren't going to be doing this. This is a safe place. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to start sharing my screen if I can get it up. Hang on, I got so many tabs on. I get to tell you what's going on. So as I'm doing this, the reason why I'm a little flustered right now is because I had a couple things happen. Yesterday, my son decided to have one of his meltdown days. We just started school like a couple of weeks ago. He came home on the sorry, I'm trying to find my screen here. He came home on the first Friday and he's like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. I don't think you understand. We got to keep going. Yesterday was a day off for him. It was a day of resilience training and building of confidence and trying to break things down. And as a sneak peek, we are going to be talking about resilience later on, but I wanted to share this story because it really kind of dismantled everything. I had everything planned out. As you know, this happens, right? We are solo parents and we're widows and trying to do both. All of a sudden, something comes out of nowhere and hits you. You got to respond to it. But yes, you still have to be here. So I apologize for that. And the other thing, guys, of course this happens, right? Because life. I'm here trying to get this done. Literally half an hour ago, I got a knock on my door from the super who decided that right now is the exact time where he should come out and start spraying for bugs. And I'm like, wait, really? So I'm running around the house to make sure everything's okay. The bunny's okay. The cat's okay. I'm here now. I promise I'll slow down. Let's get going. At any point, Jen, Rachel, kick me under the table. Let me know if I'm going way too fast because I am so pumped and excited about doing this and promote you guys, right?
Definitely. Take a deep breath. You're doing great.
It'll be okay. I just got to get in the groove. Again, bug spraying didn't help. All right, so let me share my screen, guys. This is going to be interesting for a lot of people here who are live. Rachel, you haven't seen this. I'm actually pretty excited to share this with you because we are going to be going through some things, some big changes to the program, which I'm showing you today. So first of all, let's show this up. This is so welcome to Rise Like a Phoenix. This is the open house. This is a free come in, check us out, try before you buy kind of thing. And I think it's so very important because when we start our next session, we want to make sure the people who are there are part of our group who are feeling safe, that they know that what they're getting into, and that they want to be part of us. That is so important. It's an 8-week session. It's actually structured that way on purpose. I like doing this because it makes it an overall structure where there's a beginning, there's a middle, and the end. Every 8 weeks, we open up another cohort. If you want to continue, you can. If you want to bring somebody on, that's the time to do it. We'll get into more details later, but I just want to let you know that today, as soon as this live is over, the doors will be open. Okay, and they're going to be open until the 26th, which is about a week and a half from now. Our first session is going to be on Friday, the 27th of September at this time at 12:30 p.m. That is, though, we're going to be getting more into about accessibility ways you can actually be engaged. So I don't want that to scare you. We're going to be here for you, okay? Hang tight. There's tons of stuff we're going to be going through. All right. So I promise not going to take too long, though. All right, the next one is I want to talk. Where did that go? Why is it not showing properly? This is crazy. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I swear to God, everything was done from the very beginning. Let me stop sharing. I'm also doing this on the fly because of things. Okay, here we go again, guys. I apologize. I swear I'm not usually this disorganized. Okay, welcome. So as I said, I would love you to kick off those shoes. I want you to grab a coffee. I want you to feel comfortable and relaxed, unlike me right now, because this really is for you. Okay. I want you to feel that this is an open space for you. I want you to feel this as your time to be part of the group. Okay. At this during this session, you are here. We are going to be supporting you. We're going to answer any questions. Kick off those shoes, relax. Okay. Get your coffee if you haven't already. I know I obviously had to. So briefly about me, my name is Sarah Geller. I am a widow and solo parent coach. I've been a widow since 2014. My husband unexpectedly died of a cardiac arrest when I was 37 and he was 40. My son was 2.5 and my daughter wasn't even born yet. 4 years later, I started to get to know my own identity. And that's when I started coaching because I realized that this wasn't just me anymore. I actually realized that I was not the only solo parent in the world. There's more out there. So right now, I'm a solo mom of 2 kids for over, well, so that should be 10 years now. Right now, my son was 2.5. My daughter wasn't born. Now they are 12 and they are 8. They are wonderful. They're brilliant. They're amazing. They are living with a dead parent in their life. They share a sky daddy. They are resilient. They have trauma. They are also the most empathetic, compassionate, caring people that I've ever met. And I know yours will be too. So, 13 years, I've been a project manager in educational publishing. I have had so much experience putting together educational content from development of content all the way through to production, working with different authors and editors and subject matter experts. So, I know how to take information and structure it in a way that it flows properly. And again, you have a beginning, middle, and end. Project management, my goal is to make sure everything is in pieces that you can get what you need by module as you need it. The group as part of it as an educational way to get you going. So I have a background in that. Since then, since 2014, I have been trained in trauma-informed cognitive behavioral therapy, in grief work, and a whole bunch of other different trauma-informed methodologies. I am constantly learning. I'm constantly trying to get out, do more things. And this is not just for grief. This is for solo parenting. This is for, actually, I'm going to say like parenting. Doing what solo parenting is different, which you know. So it's helping to be able to help take that information and help you for your unique situation as being a widow parent and a widow and a solo parent and trying to find yourself, right? That's a huge part of it that we don't really look at, which is why we're doing this now. I'm also a huge grief educator and advocate. So I am all about normalizing grief. I'm all about making sure that you are supported in the way we need to be, because we suck as a general rule at supporting grievers. Normalizing grief is one of the hills I will die on, and I will be loud and proud of it. Okay. And I would love to be able to get you to the point where you are too, where you're not just a widow. Okay. So before we go any further, um, I don't I don't offer false condolences or promises. My work is very heart-centered and action-based, okay? And my approach, because of that, is grounded in real-life experiences and has proven effective in really providing genuine support and understanding. Just really quickly, I'm going to stop presenting because I want to switch to something else for a sec. The reason why Jen and Rachel are here is because they are part of the group. They are probably some of the lifeblood, quite honestly. We are a very small group. We are so much different than any other groups out there. Again, we'll get through this pretty soon. I found where I want to find again. My apologies, and constantly doing this. There we go. Okay, so because of this, I want to make sure that you know that there is no false condolences here. We're not here for pity parties. One of the reasons we are so different is because we don't just bemoan life, okay? And we're not false condolences. We're not like those other people we hear of, like, oh, you're so strong, or I can't believe you're doing this. I can't even imagine. And I can't get over how many stupid things that we hear. You're not going to get that here. You're not going to get that because we understand what you are going through. Again, you're not going to get, oh, you're so young, right? Because we are young widows. I mean, that's the point of this group. When I was a widowed solo parent at 37, I thought I was the only young widow out there. And it was only after 4 years, even more longer than that, that I realized that I'm not the only young widow out there, right? So hearing things like, oh, you're so young, I can't understand that. It's like, because we're here. We are here. We're everywhere. How about things like, oh, you're so strong? Like, I cannot tell you how many times our group members have talked about this. It comes up sometimes every second meeting because it resonates so hard. And again, I didn't put this in here, but the other thing, which is our call, our siren call, is that solo parenting is so different than single parenting. And I'm not sure if the girls are like nodding in the background, but it's so true. And this means that you're going to get some real understanding and you're going to get some real empowerment. Okay. You just like these real powerful results. I'm going to show you that this is not just speaking. Okay. This is not just saying I am someone just speaking out. This is what's really going on. And they're not just my results. These are things, you know what, guys, I'm going to take you down for a sec. I don't want you to feel like you're kind of being weird here. These are not just my results. I've tested these. Oops, let me get off there for a second. I don't know how this works. I'm sorry. These are not just my results. I have tested this result for over 6 years. And I've done this for one-on-one. I've done this for group. I'm not saying that this is my group coaching I just put together. I've been doing group coaching for about 4 years now. This is just a smattering of different testimonials. My one-on-one clients, this is where I started from. They are still so part of my life and I'm still part of them. And that's one of the things too. The people you're going to meet here are people that you're going to come through the rest of your life. The next thing I want to go to is I want you to know that the grief is too heavy to carry alone. Okay. I've had 6 years of experience, which helping clients achieve their goals. I've helped clients from over 10 countries. Widows here. We got people in Central Pacific time. We have people in Wales here. We have people from Ireland who's part of the group. I had somebody who's I know she's watching right now. She's from Caro, and I work with her directly. This is, again, we're not alone, right? It's not just us. I've helped over 5,000 widows and going strong over the past 6 years now. I'm going to keep going. And I've helped my one-on-one clients, and with the group, I have achieved a 90% desired outcome. So this is not just me saying I can help you. You will get through. I mean, there's proof this is going to be happening. I'm just going to skip through this. So I already said that. So I want to let you know that I'm passionate, not just about helping widows gain their own identity, which is so important, but also as solo parents and individuals who really have their own desires and dreams and futures beyond what they had before, because that identity died, beyond the solo parenting thing, because we are more than just mothers. We're more than just widows. We are us, and trying to figure out that passion and what drives us next, what else we can grab onto. This is what I'm so passionate about. One of the things I need you to know is that I know, and I'm sure you know too, that grief isn't something to fix or to get over. Grief doesn't mean letting go, it doesn't mean moving on. It means learning how to move forward into your new identity and into your new life purpose with the memories of your loved ones supporting you. You are going to bring them with you. And when you're ready for that, that's when you become part of this group. Okay. Knowing you can get to that point. Um, all right. So I don't want to just take it from me. This is where I'm going to pass over the torch. Jennifer, Rachel, I'm going to give you a quick introduction of what you've been doing, what I've known of you. Please input about if I've gotten any dates wrong. I do apologize. If you want to interject anything I have not said about you, this is your story. Okay. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable here as well. So just to confirm, first of all, I want to introduce you to Jennifer. Jennifer was widowed on April 4th in 2020. I hope that's right. Right, Jen?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, good. Your kids were 10 and 11. You've been a member since February. Oops, I want to get back to that. Jen, I want you to take the stage. I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell me about you. Like, where did you start? What were you looking for? Like, how long did it take you to be part of this group? Tell me, and wait, what are you doing now? Like, tell me your story.
So I've been part of your Facebook group since the beginning, and thought about joining this group a couple times, but it wasn't until the open house with Rachel that made me want to join, really. I felt like I was doing fine on my grief journey. Yeah, I was a mess some days, better others. Um, but then I really realized I needed some help finding me and stepping out of just the role of mother and widow and um, consultant, because I very quickly reverted back to who I was before I was.
All right, got hang seconds. I gotta stop like distracting everybody. Okay, go ahead.
So I
Sorry.
very quickly reverted back to sort of who I was before I got married, the types of shows I ate, the food I ate, and those sorts of things. And I missed some of the things that we did as a couple. I missed some of the things that we did as a family. And it was just nice to sort of focus on me and what parts of single me did I want to keep, what parts of married me, and what parts of widowed me did I want to sort of move forward with. And I think in working through some of these things where we've done some of our childhood trauma work and some of our priority work, and all of these things have really helped me just sort of feel better, feel more grounded, feel more, I got this, I can move forward.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely, I did a Facebook post pretty early on in my grief where I said there's a certain relief and power when your worst fear has been realized and you've survived it.
Yes.
So, like, my kids changed how they wanted to do schooling. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Because if you hate it, we go back to homeschooling. It's not a big deal. And honestly, everyone I talk to now, they're all, I think people are just sort of coming out of their COVID trauma and moving forward with that. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Was it COVID? Was it being widowed? I don't know. But here we are. We're all healing and showing how resilient we can be, given the fact that we dealt with all of this at the same time. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I love the group. I love how we interact with each other in the group, outside of the group. I love how we support each other. and I love how we just get it. Like, I mean, Rachel and I are like sisters from another mother. Like, our coincidences and parallel universes are so similar. It's crazy, but it's reassuring, and it's really nice to know that we're not alone, and our situations are different, but
Yeah.
so similar.
Yes. You know what? I think I'm just gonna chime in here. I think that's one of the things I really like about this group because I've been putting this group together for about 2 years now, maybe about three now. Every time I have another group, there are already connections being made before we even start. Like we get together like this, we have these kind of one-on-ones. We find there's connections that come out of nowhere. And I think this is important too, because grief is such a personal thing. And sometimes we feel even in groups, we can feel isolated. And this can even be with widow groups, where it's older widows are like, I can't relate to them, or if I have young kids, like I had young kids, Jen, when I was widowed, like my daughter wasn't even born yet. So I've been helping the young ones. You have the older ones, right? Your kids are older so I can't speak to that, but you can, right? If I mean, everybody has a certain insight, and I will find, I mean, even within there, we're going to have commonalities. Rachel and our kids are so close in age that you could almost be twins. Like, it's ridiculous. And like, with almost the same birthdays for one of them or two of them too, which is kind of ridiculous. And there's so many connections. I mean, not just right here, but in past groups. And again, I'm going to bring in the past group members later. But I think that's so important too, because as we're going through this, knowing that we do have unique aspects of our life. And I can't tell you the time I've heard so many people saying, but my grief is different. My grief is different. I'm like, you know what? Yes, it is. It is unique, but someone else will get it. Like, I will guarantee you that even though they haven't gone through exactly the same situation you will, they will get a piece of that and they'll be able to resonate with you and you'll get to resonate with them. And that is such a relief, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I had, again, how much is going on. Rachel, let me find your, I'm kind of going all over the place. Completely transparency, guys. I'm going to be sharing some screens and some not some screens because I'm kind of working on some stuff in the background. Again, you guys get this, right? And that's something I want to bring up as well, is that because this group is so different, we don't get solo parents. We are such like an open thing. We are so accessible, which means if we are talking and your kid runs in and decides to take over the camera, that's life, right? I mean, how often, if you're running late, that's cool. If you can only show up for half a session, that's fine. Like, there's replays, there is the community afterwards. I'm going to shut up again. I got so excited about this. Rachel, my dear, dear, dear friend, I would love you to explain your situation. I put this together really quickly. Again, tell me if I'm wrong with these dates, but you've been widowed since September 16th, 2020. Honestly, you just passed your anniversary yesterday, the death anniversary yesterday. So
Yeah.
how are you feeling, first of all?
Better than I was yesterday. Yesterday wasn't a very verbal day for me, and
Yeah.
in any respect. The only one thing I will say, my kids were 6 and 8 when Rob died.
Yeah.
You've got 8 and 11 there. But yeah, so I'm Rachel, and my husband Rob died very suddenly from a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage, 16th of September 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd been in the background of the group, watching your lives and things from the get go. But honestly, like, joining this group has been hands down the best decision I ever made. And particularly the Rise Like a Phoenix group, because, like Jen said, we're all, although every story is different, we've all got a common ground, and I think you have a different level of empathy and a different level of listening and understanding once you've been where we've been. And for me, the weekly meetings, it's just like, I mean, I'm in Wales, you're in
Yeah.
Canada, Jen's and it's just like completely different time zones, but it's like meeting up with your besties from around the world who get you, where you don't have to look at what you're saying before you say it because other people take things wrong, or and it's so important to be understood and to feel heard. And if you're having a shit day, you can say, I'm having a shit day, and they won't go, oh, but it'll get better. Well, tomorrow might not be a bit better, but it will eventually. But it's about knowing how to deal with whatever the day is bringing you. And I think this group is amazing for that.
We are a very, very real group. And I think that's very important to bring up as well, because um, it goes back to the false condolences idea of why would we do that when all we hear is that. I would like to have a bad day and go, guys, I'm having a horrible freaking day and I hate this. And for you to go, oh, it'll get better, like you said, but I don't care about that. Like, why are you invalidating what I'm feeling right now?
Yeah.
Like, can you just say that I have a shit day? Tomorrow, yeah, it'll get better. I don't care about tomorrow. But
No.
again, and to go back to Jen's point too, though, when we do have those horrible days, when we do get that empathy from people, it's not just it's you're going to get better. It's because you've gone through the hardest thing in your life. You've gone through the worst thing, and you're still kicking. You are kicking strong, and you are here, and you're vibrant, and you're learning even more than that. I mean, if you can do that, you can do freaking anything. Right? It's just learning how to get to that point. And I think having these people who know how to support each other in a very honest way, because that also means that you're going to get valuable advice that works, because we're not just telling you stuff to like get you stop talking. Right?
Yeah.
If this something doesn't work, we'll let you know. If something does work, then we'll say, hey, just try this out. I love that about this group. And I think it makes it very real. Okay, so let me go back. Jen and Rachel, is there anything else you want to bring up before I go to the next stage of what we're going to be talking about?
When you were saying about false condolences, and
yeah,
I'm sure people, because myself, if I had £1 for every time someone said to me, "You're so strong, I don't know how you do it," and then literally now my answer is, "What other choice have I got?"
Yeah.
It's like it's not. It is amazing how we keep going. It is, because when you've gone through what we've been through, mine was 4 years yesterday. I'm still standing. Some days only just, but I'm still standing. And 90% of that, I will say, is down to the support from this group. Because I know that at any point, somewhere, that's the beauty of different time zones, somewhere around the world, someone's going to be able to help or just listen or just be like, blah. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I think it's great that we can sit in each other's discomfort and not try to make ourselves feel comfortable by telling him, oh, you're so strong, you'll get over it. He's in a better place. It's all for the best. It's all God's plan. Well, screw all of that. I wasn't given a choice, and I'm not in a better place, and I don't care whose plan it was. But we can sit there and go, oh, that sucks. I remember days like that. Oh, yeah. What else are you feeling? Tell me more, because you need to get it out, and I'm here to listen for you. And you don't get that from someone who hasn't experienced this. Their brain is actually in survivor mode to say, what happened to you? Oh, okay, that won't happen to me. I can rationalize it so it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
And that's a natural instinct, but it's we don't do that here. We let you be who you are, where you are, when you are, so that you can process it the way you want, and you all do the same for me.
It's all about normalizing the taboos in
Well,
society,
that's all right.
and that's any taboo. So, like, you can come into this group. We don't care whether you're gay, straight, black, white, religious, non-religious, pink spotted. If you're hurting, we, if you're hurting, we all help, because it's all about coming together, camaraderie of human souls, and actually helping. That there's a lot of healing goes on in the being able to just sit with what you're feeling and be able to tell other people how you're feeling, and for them not to try and invalidate it, but just to have the group sit with it. And then if you want advice, or we can offer that also. But there's a lot of the time in general day-to-day life, I find that you try to sort of, people say, oh, how are you? I'm fine. There's a blanket response, whereas
Yep.
I know when I come into this group, I can tell it how it is, and nobody will judge me. Nobody will think, oh God, and we're so comfortable with each other, and it's amazing.
I think authenticity is really important. Like, again, full transparency. Look at this. Like, I have roots coming out. I was supposed to have a shower before I came here. I am not. Like, I just barely made some makeup on, and I don't care. Like, you can see my background. I mean, I think I want to bring that out too, guys. I could put like a virtual background behind me. I don't want to. Yeah, I want you to see the mess behind me, right? Because if I put like a Hawaii back there, why would you trust me? Like, I'm obviously not in Hawaii. Like, what the hell? So I think that's important too, right? I mean, that honor, and that's why I think that's another reason why this group is so important. What I try to engender is show up. Like, I don't even care if you have warts. I don't even care if, like, I don't care. Like, whatever. Like, show up, show up, show up. And that is not just for the group coaching. That's not just when we get together. That's in our continual group. That's messaging. That's like, we are just show up, talk, be here, because we are listening. And I genuinely mean that. And as Rachel, you said, someone's going to be around to be able to take care of your problem. Like, we just had a wonderful conversation with one of our group members who is going through her own thing right now. And she reached out to us, and there's like a little chatter going on, right? It's beyond just the group sessions, which I wanted to bring up now too, off the top. So I want to kind of go back again, because again, we have so much going through, and I try to make sure that we get through everything as possible. And that's it. And I want to make sure that you know that too, is I, as a project manager, I do like trying to segment things. We do have, at the very beginning of all our sessions, we do have a check-in for everybody. We have a kind of event session. We get through how you've been doing, what did you pick up, and then we'll launch into the topics. And then usually there is some kind of homework afterwards. They'll have some takeaways. We'll kind of support each other throughout the week. But it's structured that way because it brings down vulnerability from the very beginning, so we can actually attack the real issues, and not just like the symptoms, but the real problems underneath them in ways that will work. Because a lot of this is, again, been through my coaching, but I learn from you guys all the time. It's amazing. I don't know why all of a sudden it can't. All right, there we go. Okay, so I also wanted to bring past members, because I've been doing this for quite a few years now. The people who are part of this group, this is not just a one-time thing, guys. This is not just you're here for the 8 weeks and you're gone. Like, you can come back if you want to. You can come in and come back. All I ask for you is that you stay for the first week, for a first session from the 8 weeks. There are ways to come back to us, and we'll again get into that a little bit later. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the people who are part of this group, they become friends as long as you want them to be, right? And vice versa. They are connections for life. I've had situations where, where'd it go? Oh yeah, I've had situations where we have not been able to go past like a trauma-informed meeting. I don't know if you have this, guys, but I've been in situations where we have these grief meetings and you come together and it's wonderful and you vent and you go out. And then after the session is done, whether it be a 1 time or a 2 time or whatever, everybody goes back to their real lives. And that kind of camaraderie kind of ends. And we don't have that vulnerability anymore. It's almost like there's this little bubble. And to the point where I don't even trust these groups anymore because I would like to open up and be vulnerable. I don't know if I can because it's risky. What if I lose that again? Like I've lost everything, right? A lot of us have lost not just our husbands, but all the secondary losses, but our friends and our family and our support. And I can't do that again, right? And this is why, so when you join this group, you are truly making connections that you're not going to lose unless you want to. Again, personal choice too, right? I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's an important thing to know that this is something because of the membership in this group. It's safe even afterwards. Again, if you want to. The next thing I want to go through is the idea of, is this for you? So we just talked about our members, our current members, because I'll bring up some of our past members later on. The questions for you is, are you feeling isolated from the rest of society? Like, do you feel like you're that widow? You can be like in this crowd and you feel like you're kind of standing like out like a sore thumb because everybody knows that you're that widow. Or even if they don't, you feel that way. Like I remember I used to feel like there's a sandwich board on me saying like, I kind of want there to be too, because I'm like, but my life has changed since the last time I've seen you. How do you not see this? Which also isolates you. I think ages ago, Rachel, you're saying how the fact that it feels like there's this veil between you and the rest of the world, right? You can't connect. That's for you if you are. This is what this group is. If you are exhausted from saying what, keeping everything. Oh, sorry, there's a typo there. If you are so scared of if you're exhausted from keeping everything inside, watching what you're saying, and being aware of how it sounds before you say it, it's exhausting. It's almost like this mask, right? That we're always putting on. Like, what can I tell? What can't I tell? It's always this juggling back and forth. And if you're missing something, getting something relatable feedback from someone who really understands. This is also so important because knowing that you have someone to have your back because you just lost somebody and be able to get advice, again, not just on widowhood, not just on widow life, not just in your own identity, but also for the solo parenting aspect, because solo parenting is so isolating in itself, and we kind of cover all the gambit, which is again why we are so different than other people, other groups out there. Not that they're bad. This is just for if you are here. So who are we? We are a group of widows that our fog is starting to lift, or it's been lifted for a bit, and we are ready to learn how to move forward moving forward. I'm not sure if you heard that before, but I always say that the first year is that year of survival, where you're in that fog, you can't think straight. Sometimes it's all the emotions. Other time it's just like blanked, numb. Then the second year is that year of reality where, oh my God, I mean, I'm going to swear here, but I call it the what the fuck reality, when things really start to hit. Oh my God, this is my life now. This is not a dream. I'm here. This sucks. Okay, now what? And then it usually takes some time to get through that. If you're at that point, that's where we are right now. Okay, this is the next step. Who are we also? Here we are not a general complaint group. Okay, we focus on productive conversations. Yes, we check in with each other. Yes, we bring down those barriers and say, this is really how I am. You ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you. But we also go the next step further, which is we actually figure out how to have these really productive conversations and be able to come away with actionable ways to go forward. Again, that's probably part of my background. This is how I work. And I'm sick of this not being able to go in circles. Like, I don't want that for you either. We're also not all doom and gloom. Okay. We are here to support each other on our own individual journeys. And I think we've just kind of touched all of that when we've talked together. I don't want you to wait 4 years to start rebuilding your life. I've been doing this for, oh my goodness, for years now. I mean, again, I've been solo parenting and widow for 10. I've been doing coaching and group coaching and widow mentoring and whatever you want to call it, grief education, for 6 years now. There is no timeline for grief. I'm going to say that right now. There is no timeline for grief, but I do find, and this is really weird, guys, generally, I find that typically it takes widows about 4 years to find themselves. It's how long it took me. How long a lot of the people, that I've talked to, especially if they've done it on their own, because most of the time we do, and you will totally do this on your, you know. But I don't want it to take 4 years, and I don't want you to do it alone because it sucks, right? This is why we're here. They again, and this timeline, it can be shortened, it can be extended, and I don't want you to think about your timeline either. If you say, but where am I in your grief, we can do a grief assessment, and I can help you with that. But just to be sure, like where you are in your grief, I don't care whether you're 2 years or 5 years or 6 months or whatever. If you are thinking right, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it. If you're not sure, the group members will know. And this actually brings into a little guarantee that I'm going to have for you guys that Jennifer actually brought up the other day, which is I think it's a wonderful idea, and it's a leap of faith for us, to you to open the doors. I am going to bring that again at the end for the bonuses, so stick around, okay? And again, you can do this. You absolutely can. I don't want you to. We don't like you to. That's why we're here. I'm gonna stop right there, guys, because I wanna reach back to you guys, because I don't want this to be just a talking head. I think it's really important for you to get some feedback. When I say there's no timeline, when I say that it usually takes 4 years, what's your own experience for that? I mean, you guys, you're not you guys are not 4 years yet, right? But you have an idea of what. Rachel, you've been this for a while. Jen, you're starting to talk about this more. So widows are starting to reach out to you now, which really is amazing. That's why the more we talk, the more we kind of get. I would love to hear from you how you feel about what I've seen.
Yeah, I'm out 4 years out. I'm almost 4.5 now.
Sorry.
But I think
Oh my God, it is 224. I just realized it's 224 right now.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
So, but I also think that there's, particularly our 4 year is different because of the whole COVID shutdown. So I think that slowed everything down for everybody too. But it is interesting because I think we all have that first year of you're just surviving, you're just breathing. And everyone feels like, oh, I'm going to get to that 1 year mark and everything's going to get better. And it gets worse. It gets worse for a couple months because there is no surprise. There is no, he really will not come back. Like there's no hope anymore that he will come back. Like the reality is now the calendar says it, life says it, like he's really gone. And now this is the second year that he died this day. This is the second year that it was his birthday. This is the second year that it was our anniversary and he's not here to celebrate. This is the second year that it's my birthday and he's not here to do anything. This is the second Mother's Day that he's not encouraging the kids to do anything for me. And not only that, everyone else doesn't care anymore. Like my second anniversary, no one did anything. My first anniversary, I got flowers saying if Mark were here, he would have sent them to you from a friend. Like it was amazing. And she and her husband, she wanted to send them from my husband, and her husband said, no, that's too weird. You need to say it's from us. So, but it's everyone. I think the general consensus is you get a year to grieve and then you're over it. And you're not.
No.
But that's when everyone else kind of forgets about it. And I think that's what makes the second and third year harder, is because your support system is like, we're done. We helped you. We're done. You can do it. And, there are the true friends who will be there, but you still have to be the one to remind them you need help standing up. You need help with something. And there's something exhausting about asking for help.
Yes.
And there's something so incredibly hard about it. Specifically for me, I am so lost by the time I ask for help, and 90% of the time no one can help me. So what do? I just help everybody else and forget about myself. But it's, so there's that I don't know. I think the timeline is real, and I don't know if we can speed it up, but I think we can get there healthier doing the work up to 4 year rather than just having it fall into place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that we've worked on, and I'm like, I don't want to work on that. I don't want to do that.
Yes. Well, I
But
think that's
we
important
do.
too, because we're here to support each other because this is hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work to be vulnerable. It's hard work to actually figure out what to do. And that's there's so many points you brought up there, and I don't want to get too deep because I really want to get to the questions that we got from the survey. But yes, everything you said absolutely hits hard. Like so many different ways. Yes, and again, I just want to say really briefly because I can't stop talking about this is I think you and I were talking about this yesterday, how the first year, the funeral happens and you're still in this daze and you don't know what's going on and you're still in shock. And the
We didn't
funeral
even
happens.
have a funeral.
Pardon
We
me?
didn't even
Oh,
have, we
yeah,
didn't even have a funeral.
yeah, which is a completely different thing too. Oh my God. Sorry, Rachel, you look like you were going to say something.
And I didn't actually realize that, Jen. Oh my God. I mean, obviously I was COVID as well in COVID time, but we at least got to have a funeral. We were only allowed to invite 20 people, which was nothing.
Yeah.
But that's horrific. But yeah, I mean, going along with what Jen said, the first year you're almost marking time, birthdays,
Yes.
anniversaries, this, that, and the other. And then you get to it's a year today that he died, and then you think, shit, nothing's different. And as you say, your support network has sort of mollycoddled you for a 12-month. But okay, so you've got through that 12 months, you must be fine now, right? No. And I always remember it was luckily after the 1 year mark, my line manager in work had said to me, "Oh, I know what it is, Rachel." She said, "I know exactly how you feel." She's a divorced woman, not a widowed woman. "I know exactly how you feel." She said, it's the evenings, isn't it? When you sat there watching the telly by yourself. And I'm like, darling, if you think that's all it is, really be grateful that you have no clue. But you get people then trying to compare, and do you don't want any of that? But yeah, the first year you're marking all the things. The second year, then you think, oh God, actually, I've got to do it all over again because it's not got any better, or nothing's changed. You expect things to change and they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, but yeah, it's about being gentle with yourself, being vulnerable with people you can be vulnerable with, and certainly I hit 4 years yesterday, and I absolutely hand on heart would not be as far along as I am now had it not been for this group and the work that we do in it. I would still have been floundering somewhere.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said I would still have been floundering somewhere trying to make it work.
That's important to mention too, right? We're never going to be 100%. Because we're always going to get some kind of triggers. Like I'm 10 years on and I still get triggers, right? But you do learn the waves get less overwhelming and you learn to swim to shore again and again and again and again. And sometimes they're really big and sometimes they're not. And sometimes you're helping your kids through their grief and sometimes you're not. And then again, it's just this constant ebb and flow. But because we've gone through this and we know that we can deal with this kind of change, we can be adaptable. I hate saying it, but we can be so strong. We really are. Okay, sorry, I got to keep going because I love these conversations, but I do want to keep going. It's been an hour already. I love these conversations, but I do want to get back. Maybe that's the wrong screen. Sorry, I told you I was doing too many things. I'm I'm going to stop for a second. Okay, so let me go back to where I was. Our past members, we have exit slide. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. There we go. Okay, so is this true for you? What we're not? The way start there. Oh, the other thing. So what we're going to talk about today, after all that, actually, this is kind of neat because this kind of is how we work too. At the very beginning is kind of open flow, open house. Let's see how things going. All right, let's dive into that. Okay, so what we're talking about today, as we are talking about already, we've got through that already, why we're not just another widows group. We are so different because we are not just young. We are not just widows. We are not just widows going forward. Beyond that, we are solo parents. And there is so much in that too, because you're trying to juggle all the stuff and their grief and your own grief. And it's hard for us to find the time to do that. So that goes to my next point is that why should you care? Why is this going to work for you? What are you going to get out of this? Because here I am saying you can't fix grief, or it's not going to, I can't guarantee a time or it's going to take work. And like, well, why would you get anything out of this? I think you got part of that as well. You're going to get so much of it, but you're going to give in as much as you can take. We respect that. So if we are making it as accessible as possible, and we'll get into more about what that means and the changes I'm making to the group. I want right here to say that we do care, and why you should care is because you are going to get something out of this, because there is such this idea, no matter where we are, even though there's not these steps of grief, which is a completely separate thing when we get to the grief assessment. So I got so much to share. I might have to stop this early. There's no basic way of going through things, but because you're going to get something out of it, because there are so many different aspects of grief that at least one of us are going to understand. And if not, I have over 100 video trainings that I can go, oh, here, you want to watch this, because it'll resonate. The survey says, I'm going to be going through what the survey that I sent out to you guys about what you guys want to talk about. I think that's so important, because as I put together these every 8-week sessions, I reach out to the past group members, asking them what they like the best, why they liked it, what they'd like to get into more, what they want to talk about next. And I'll have some topics as well, kind of picked out from either previous sessions or stuff I hear in the Solo Widow Parenting Free group, stuff I've heard come up, especially stuff I've heard come up in this group. I have like over, I think, 6 months worth of ideas right now in my head that we can dive into, but I want to know what resonates with you. I want to make sure that what we talk about is for you. So everybody who's part of the survey, do watch as we go through, because I know we're going to hit something that you brought up. After that, we're going to open up for Q&A for anybody who is here live, anybody who's here for the replay. Same thing. Please do let us know. We'll go back to you. Truth. Okay. Cards on the table. Total vulnerability. If you are new on your widow journey, and if you're still in survival mode, this group isn't for you. Okay. We've already kind of touched on that. And I want to be upfront and honest with that, because I don't know, again, how long you've been in your grief. I've worked with clients and they've been 6 months into their grief and they flew. It just blew my mind. And they were just right. I've had other people who I've worked with who were not ready yet. Right. And they tried and they really did, but they weren't ready. But you know what? I'm going to keep my eye on them, because I know, as Jen says, there's going to be this big first year, second year. I'm just kind of going like that. I'm going to keep my eye on them to make sure they're okay. But if you really feel like you're still in your fog and you can't think, I don't want you to feel like you're pressured to make this decision if you're not ready there. You have to get through your own fog too. And I would like you to help you with that, because I do have other resources and other smaller programs that are specifically made for that first year or two of grief when you can hardly think. Smaller packages, smaller ways of working. Talk to me first. When you're ready, we'll get you to where you need to be when you're ready for it. And I forgot to change that. This is not first gracer. At the end, you are going to get an offer for what we are doing together. I'm going to be going through the different tiers, which is different. I kind of gave that away. But I'm going to give you a way you can join us at the end. Again, at the end of this, we're going to be opening the doors. Okay, so I'm going to go this really quickly as well. Who is this for? We kind of went through this already. This is for your solo parents who are struggling with the weight of decision making. Okay. I've heard this so many times. We have nobody to bounce ideas off of. Knowing that you have a group, you can go, hey, I had this parenting deal, which is solo parenting deal, not single parenting. Don't get me started. But be able to have that kind of back and forth and be able to get real support, like real help with this, right? Mothers who really want to help their kids grow emotionally strong. I kind of brought this up when I was talking to other people about resilience and how to get your own feet. It is so hard for us as mothers to fill our own cup. I hate that saying, but it's so true. We put all our energy into our kids, especially when we are newly widowed. We put our stuff into our kids. Even now, that's our game. We're going to make sure they're okay. I can't take care of myself. I have to take care of my kids. Oh, there's this there. Oh, this is there. And guys, we are busy. But if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't make sure we are okay, our kids aren't going to learn from us, and we want them to be strong too. We can get you there. If I want you to know that you are, as I hate this, you are strong, and you are going to realize there's a steel rod inside you that we can help you go through and help your kids. Okay, especially if they have their own issues, especially if they're neurodivergent, especially if you're unique, because everybody is. You're going to be able to get to the point where you can be stronger in yourself and help them. And the other thing is, if you are ready to understand that you are ready to find that new identity, when you go through grief, you kind of lose everything, right? You lose your life, like literally. It was like your old identity, your old life died with them. And when you are ready to join us, that's when you're ready to go, okay, well, this is my new reality now. What am I going to do? Who am I now? Where am I going to go next? If you're ready for this, this is who this is for. We are also important that you know those who actually want actionable steps. Okay, this is not just fencing. We've already went through this before. As we go through our sessions, again, we start off really. This is we're going to get together, but then we're going to go through. This is what our sessions are. You guys have been prepped ahead of time. Sometimes there's workbooks that go along with it. Yours going to be homework. They're actionable steps. And the more you put into this, the more you get out of this. Jen and I, because we're just talking about this, right? And I'm sure, Rachel, you know this too, right? And if you don't, regardless, and if you don't feel like you have the time, I can help you figure out how. Because motivation and time really are not the same things. And I don't want you to say, I'm too busy to be an excuse, because it is. Like I did this when I had a kindergartner and an infant on my own. Okay. You can do this. I swear to God. And again, widows who feel unsupported by traditional therapy or widow groups. And we'll get that to that later. But again, I want to say very briefly, I'm not saying that therapy is bad. It is not bad. It's amazing. It works so well with what I do, because you got the therapy is there for a different support. We are the next step to get that coaching, to go the actionable steps, because people who get you. And we'll get into a bit later on too. So much stuff going on. Okay, so I want to flip over now. I tried to get everything ready for this. I'm going to stop to share my screen here. Before I go any further, guys, did you want to say anything about what I just went on about?
Until you make the time for yourself, you don't know that you have the time for yourself.
Oh, I like that.
You know, like if you don't try, you'll never get there. So I think it's really worth it to step in, see if it's for you, see if you're ready to do the work. You know, if you're here watching this open house, you're already having those questions like, how do I move forward? How do I work on me? You know, so if you're here listening, then chances are this group is going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, something will have already resonated. Something will have caught your eye, caught your ear. And like you say, it is really easy to say, oh, I haven't got time. But also, as you said, if we don't take a bit of time for us, then everything else, you know, if you don't look after yourself, everything else suffers. And in looking after yourself, you know, you find in a little bit of time for your own healing, for your own strength building, for your own resilience building. Yeah. And, you know, that this is a really healthy way to do that, because if we're all honest, when we first widows, we have no idea whether you're doing it right, whether you're doing it wrong. Is there a way to do it? I don't know. You just, you're all, because it's so new and it's so unlike anything else in life.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's really important. And like Jen said, if you're listening to the open house and you've put your email down, there's already questions there. Like we're more than happy to answer questions later.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
it
guys,
goes to the old adage of, if you're on the plane, put your own oxygen mask on first, because you can't
right?
help anyone if you've passed out, right? So take the second, put yours on, and then you have the energy and the the power to help others.
Yeah.
You have the health modules to help. Think of the video games my kids playing. I need more help.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of this. I mean, I love one of the reasons I love about this group too is because this back and forth is amazing because sometimes you guys ever say something, I'm like, yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. You read my mind. And then, like Rachel, you are so good at picking out those right words to put into something. I am much more of a writer than I am at speaking. And sometimes when you speak, I'm like, oh, that's it. I got it. Jen, you are fantastic at finding these memes. You are the meme queen that really speak to us.
Yes.
And I think everybody has their voice because of that. And I think that's so important. All
That's
right. So
that's
I'm going to
the
stop. Oh, sorry. Go
important
ahead,
thing.
Jen.
That is really important, is that we all bring something different to the table, and then when it's all complete, it works.
It does. You know what? And again, if you're here watching, even with the replay or whatever, there is something in you, if you're feeling this, that's already connected to us. And I want you to know that you can empower yourself to know that you can give as much as you can get. And I think that is so empowering to know that I'm not just helping you guys. Rachel, you're just talking into the void. Jennifer, you're not just like, oh my God, like help me. If you want to listen, cool. But if you really want to participate, that's where it goes, because that's when you also realize, hey, I'm figuring this out quite well. Thank you very much. Which helps in those times where you don't feel that you have everything under control. All right, so I'm going to go back to the questions. So I first of all want to thank everybody who did put in the survey questions. I am overblown. I'm so happy with what you guys talked to me about. I've got to figure out where the heck my screenshots went. All right, you know what? Jen and Rachel, can you give me 2 seconds? Would you mind in the meantime talk about what your favorite epiphany was from the last session? Could we even have a chance to do that? If whatever session you were here because Rachel, you've been here for a bit now, which is wonderful. I love it. And Jen, you've been here since February. Can you pick out one thing that really resonated with you that's still with you now from one of our sessions?
It's so hard. There's so many things.
Yeah.
You know, I love the fact that it's so much easier to solve someone else's problems. So when other people come up with a problem, you can offer them a solution. And then it's really just a mirror to solution for something, as a solution for something that's bothering you or you need to fix in your own life,
Right.
because you could pull the emotion out of it when you were helping someone else. And then
Yeah.
when you go to help yourself, like, oh, I can put logic on that for someone else. But for me, I can't do that because all of these roadblocks of emotional barriers that we put up for ourselves. And so I think that that's the best part of the give and take of, oh, what did you try this or did you try that? And you can reflect it back on yourself, because we don't usually, it's so easy to get lost in our own roadblocks and not apply logic to our own things, but it's so easy to help others. And I think that's been really great of why the group works so well, is I can sometimes it's just hearing what someone else has done that
Mhm.
worked for them, and I can apply that to myself, or hearing how someone else, you know, bashed down that wall or walked around it to get to the solution on the other side. So I think there's a lot of that. And the other thing that really resonates with me is time and motivation really are not the same thing at all. I think all of us experienced that in COVID of, you know, oh, we had a whole year to do whatever we wanted. Do we do it? No. Maybe some people did. I never baked bread from scratch, and I didn't do all the art projects, and there's still clutter in my house. So time is not the motivator, and time isn't the roadblock, because on my busy days, I can accomplish so much. And on my non-busy days, I can accomplish nothing. So it's finding that motivation, and what is it that moves us forward. And I think it's really great that we can be in these groups and talk to each other and be accountable for each other. Like some of
Mhm.
us need an outside accountability, and it's really great to have that. So I
I
think
think it's one of the reasons the work the group coaching, when you have the accountability to it, like even if it's one-on-one or it's group, if you committed to something, and I think this is the reason why I wanted to be the 8 weeks, because we've done it before where it's kind of you can jump in and out, and yes, that is possible if you want to. There are ways we can work around that. Ideally, though, what you want to do for yourself, like honestly, what you want to do for yourself is say, I'm committing to this because if I can show up for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I mean, I'm going to be very blunt. Sometimes that's a lot. And I'm working on ways to get that accessible for other people for replays. But if you can account yourself to that, and knowing that people are actually relying on you to be part of that group, because it is so much better when there is more than just one or two of us. It's that accountability. We don't do that for ourselves, right? I mean, Jen and Rachel, I'm sure you've gone through this, but the only time I have a break is because if after I drop my kids off at a program, and I'm forced to kind of sit there and be by myself, and I could just sit there and I could gap out, but I know because I don't want to do that, I got to figure out how to use that time for me. And sometimes that's so hard. So having this dedicated time is also a commitment to yourself. What if you don't do, right? Anyway, I'm saying
Absolutely.
this to the people who actually show
Yeah. I
up
mean,
often.
the,
So,
but I think that is the key thing is to acknowledge that you're worth the time to spend on yourself, because we do go sort of head first into got to protect the kids, got to raise the kids, got to feed, clothe, look after, nurture, blah blah blah,
yeah.
and that's great, but we need to do that for ourselves too. And I think the thing that the ironic situation that we've ended up with Jen and I, literally, she's not wrong when she says we're like sisters from another mother. Our situations are just so absurdly similar in some ways, and it's almost like, oh, what, you just couldn't script it. But yeah, absolutely, like time and motivation are not the same thing. And I will be honest, like in before I was fully committed to this group, I dip in and out, but once you say to yourself, this is my 2 hours a week, or however long you can afford time wise to be here,
Mhm.
um, you know, it's a commitment to you. And like I say to you most weeks, guys, I know, like, I really look forward to our meetings because it's the highlight of my week, because I'm not only we're not only helping each other, but it's just time to just breathe and be, and just see where the conversation takes you, as well
Mhm.
as whatever we're learning about that day. It's it's a bit of everything, and it's relaxed, and Yeah, it's hands down the best decision I made.
Awesome. Guys, I love it. All right, I am going to go through what the survey said. Thank you I appreciate the little segue because I had to get things together. All right, here we go. So I love this. The stuff we got back was actually, it was amazing. Rachel, this is the first time you're seeing this. You are going to be like, oh, wait a minute. I completely, totally understand what you guys are going through here. Let's go through this. That's by too many tabs, guys. Okay, can you see this? Make this a little bit bigger. Hang on. All right. So what I loved about this, guys, and these are the reasons why I know when we are reaching out to people and we're asking them whether they want to join the group, the stats show them themselves. Okay. So I have found some stats for the free group. The free group or more for widows who are about 6 to 12 months. Some of the time it's a little bit younger than that, but is definitely the first part of the grief. This particular group, this is the next step. Okay. You can see here we have like, what's it? You got 35.7% are in your fourth year. You know, there are 28.6% in your third year. That just tells me right there. Right. These are people like you who are really, this is where I want to go there. I want to be here. Something resonated with this to go, hey, I want to know more. I want to understand where to go next. So this doesn't really surprise me. It also lets me know that if you were, again, listening to this, you've kind of already self-selected yourself to be here. Okay. Just say, okay, next thing to do. This was amazing. Okay. So again, that's where you are with you. Are you in your fog? Only 14.3% said everything's, they can't think straight or that things are starting to get clear. Look at this. 71% said that fog is beginning to lift and I'm focused on learning how to move forward. I mean, how resilient, how inspiring is that, guys? You guys, you know, this is where you want to be. Like you already know there's something inside you going, I need to get out. I need to figure out like what's inside me to come out. I'm just blown away from this. So what I want to go here is I don't want to go into every single thing that came up because Jen and I were on I'm sorry, Rachel, we got together yesterday to go through this. We are on the phone for a good 2 hours. I don't want to take 2 hours. I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible. I'm going to read out all of them. Okay. Jen, I would like you to pick out one that resonates with you. Rachel, same with you. Anybody who's live, please chime in. If there's something there that's yours or that you want to bring in, we'll get to it. At this point, again, this is kind of part of the question and answer. This is more I want to hear how to connect with you. Okay. So the things that people miss about adult conversations: connection with understanding, small talk on life, having someone to have with, being candid, not feeling as alone, not feeling defeated. I am missing my support system. The give and take and the shorthand of talking to my person, discussing something more than surface level. I honestly start to forget the feeling of conversing with another adult. Inside jokes and passion, being listened to, bouncing ideas back and forth, getting a solid, productive opinion back, not having to think about what I'm saying or how it sounds, discussions about resolvements, having them. Seriously, it didn't matter what it was about, just someone to talk to. However, I specifically missed the conversations I had with my spouse about us. Having someone to help about talking through things and helping with decision making. I'm home. Jen helped me figure out how that one's supposed to be. How the idea of you just come into the house, you're like, "Hey, honey, I'm home," and not having that. The one I'm going to go first because I was been kind of looking at this. The one that really resonated with me. Again, this is because I was a younger widow with young kids. Again, one of them not even born yet. The one that can come up with me is the discussing something more than surface level. That to me says that this is someone who has young kids. This is someone all their time into them. They don't get that feedback. They don't get that support. It's them all the time. They're exhausted, not just from really the physical work of it, mentally it's exhausting and emotionally, especially if you're going through your own grief, like I was. And how do you find that time to have all these feelings and these grief when you are afraid that if you can't put a lid on it? Like if I have 15 minutes to myself, do I want to open that bottle? Can I do it and know if I can get back to full parenting mode because I am the only one left? Right? That's kind of what I'm feeling. So I resonate with that. And there are like tons of stuff I can go back into this actually with everything, but I wanted to know that's the one that resonated with me. Rachel or Jen, which one resonated with you? Hands up, whoever wants to go first.
So for me, it was having someone to help with talking through things and help with decision making. Because Rob and I were a complete team. You know, he used to wash up, I used to wipe up, we used to talk everything through. You know, like if we were decorated, he'd hang wallpaper, I'd paint. It was a proper yin yang. So I really miss that. It's sort of half of that and then half of not, you know, with the missing the support system, because it is, the team has just been broken up, and you have to do all the roles, whereas you only did half the roles before, for me.
So I think mine is actually the give and take and the shorthand of talking to my person. Sometimes it's just really nice to not have to give the backstory of where you're coming from on everything to get to a decision. And yes, you can get that with friends who are, you know, long-term friends, but sometimes when you're looking for help with a decision or how to something, it's really nice to just say, do you have the younger one today? I got the older one. And
Yeah.
we know the younger one has to go to dance and the older one has to go to fencing, and which side of town that is, and you know what time it is. But it's nice to just concisely say, you got A, I got B, we're good, and be done with it. And I miss the partnership tremendously, but just the conversations, it's nice when someone just gets you with the shorthand and you don't need the backstory.
I love it. No, totally. I mean, again, we resonate with all of those things. And again, we can, some of those things we can't fix, right? They're not coming back. You know, we can't have that give and take with them anymore. But we can bring them with us. Like we can talk about them. We can bring them up. Again, and I'm not trying to Pollyanna Anna things either, because it is just us. And I know for me, and I don't think people talk about this as often as they should. I, for many years, was pissed off that he was the one leaving with me with all this. You know, this wasn't the plan. You know, we were supposed to be doing this together. You know, that's the reason we got married, right? I mean, the reason why we got married was actually he wanted to get married. I didn't really care. He wanted to get married because his father took off when he was a young infant, and he didn't want to do the same for Tristan. And then he died. And I'm like, thanks, dude. That's exactly what you said you weren't going to do, right? And I don't know where you guys are listening or here or watching the replay. And I don't know whether it's been a long-term illness or it's a quick thing. There's still going to be that kind of anger that's going to be there. There's going to be a guilt that's going to be there. There's going to be a resentment, especially when sometimes things happen and you're like, can someone else please just deal with this, with the kid, with right now? Just deal with the kid. Like deal with like doing this teacher thing, deal with signing all the forms. Oh my God, the signing of the forms, the administration of who's the backup. Guess what? Who's the second parent? Dead. You can try calling him. It's not gonna help. You got me. And that happens all the bloody time, right? I mean, and then anyway, so we get that. So I just want to bring that up because there are other things that we do want to get through. Let me go back to sharing screen. Guys, you are wonderful. Again, if you're there on live or replay, do resonate. We will get to it. Even now or later.
True to life things hitting. My daughter just hurt her foot in PE and I have to go pick her up and take her to the doctor.
Oh, dude.
So
see?
I apologize that I need
to step out. No, it's all good. This is life. I mean, we can roll with the flow, right? I mean, this is why I had to postpone this from last week because we had stupid cast things. I mean, things happen. I'm just glad I'm glad you're here for as long as you could be. Go take care of your daughter.
Alrighty. Bye, Sarah. Bye, Rachel.
Hi, guys. Okay. Oh, Jen. Rachel, you're still here.
I'm
Okay.
here.
So I'm going to ask you then. So I'm going to go through. This is new for you. Jen's already seen this. So I'm going to go through. This is the big reveal. I'm going to tell you what topics we're going to be doing for our next 8-week session. So we are. You can see here the ones that came up the most, and I'm going to go back to my own notes because you can't see what the titles are. They're kind of go off there. So the first one is, so I'm going to go from the top to the bottom. The first one is finding inner hope, cultivating joy and purpose as a widowed solo parent. This, I think, we kind of talked about a little bit already, knowing that you have that joy, that you can find that purpose, even if you're a widow, even if you're a solo parent, and find that kind of a beacon, that light. This came up, look at this, I mean, 64.3%. The other thing that came up that we're going to be talking about, go down to the 9s here, is reclaim your life. Balancing, we're trying to figure out. So balancing, where'd it go? There you go. Sorry, my computer tech. Reclaim your time. Here we go. Reclaim your time, balancing energy, kids, and personal projects. We just, our last session, we're just finishing up now. We're going to be doing a workshop on Friday. A lot of it was the balancing energy, time, kids, and personal projects. We're going to be diving into parts of it that we liked the most. We're going to dive into parts we didn't get to. We're going to dive into we're going to dive into more of it. It is a big thing, but it's obviously is a big thing. You guys, like 64%. The next one that comes up is the kids have you, embracing both failures and success in solo parenting. This is one of the earlier ones that we did like 2 or 3 sessions ago. Again, if you happen to be here, Rachel, I don't remember if you're here for it.
Yeah.
Okay. It is one of the one that was one of the more favorite ones. And we're not gonna do exactly the same thing. Everything we do, if you come back for a second time or a third time, there's always going to be more than adding to it. That's going to kind of build onto it. And again, for you guys who are joining, you'll have access to that over from the older ones too. So those are the 3 or most topmost. The next ones are going to come up is going to be cultivating resilience, long-term strategies that actually work for grieving families. I think it's really important too, because a lot of I went out to asking people about resilience, about whether they want short-term or long-term. The short-term one was called rapid resilience. The third one from the bottom is quick tips for navigating emotional triggers. I reached out to quite a few people, even with this and adding to this survey, the cultivating long-term strategies was the one that came up the most. That's not to say we're not going to handle the quick tips. If you were here from even watching the replay or live, you're going to be getting a resource based on which one resonated with you the most. Okay, I've got a free resource. We are going to be focusing on the long-term strategies. However, that doesn't mean that we're not going to be doing the quick tips later on. Okay, so be aware of that. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the reclaim you, finding your new identity after the death of your spouse. Now, this is what I specialize in. It is a part of a bigger one-on-one coaching program that I do when you're ready for it. It is a deep dive. This will not be a deep dive, but it is going to get you that kind of sense of self about knowing where your identity is. If you've been working with me before, you've touched on this before. Again, there's more that we can dig deep into. Rachel, I know you still owe me homework, I think, from this ages ago. This is a hard one, right? This is a hard one. So I think this might be one of the ones we kind of lead up to, because we need to get that camaraderie and that vulnerability to get to that point.
Yeah.
So those are the ones. There's the 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 5. And then the 6th one that we're going to be doing is a specialty bonus one. I'm not sure if you can see this. Maybe I can blow it out. So I thought it was really interesting too. Why can't I see this bigger? Oh my God, my computer, don't die on me. All right. You can't see that yet. The specialty topics. So these ones came up because they are specialty things. I want to be very clear right now. I am not a kids grief therapist. Nobody here is a kids grief therapist. What I specialize in is, again, with the widowhood and the solo parenting and everything. What I'm really good at is helping you as parents know how you can help them. Okay. So I'm teaching you the strategies that you can help your kid with. If they're in therapy, fantastic. If they're doing their own coaching, fantastic. If they have other I can't say it, extra after school activities, they're getting support from, fantastic. This is for us to teach you how you can help them, okay, to give you the tools. So the one that came up, which kind of blew my mind, and I didn't realize that this was as big as it was. In retrospect, it's my bad. Thank you for opening my eyes. Talking about daddy when it's complicated. This is something that I have talked about before. Quite honestly, it's something I'm going to have to do a bit more research. So it's not going to be one of the first ones, because I want to make sure that what I'm bringing to us to the table to discuss is stuff that actually isn't just fluff. It's real things that are going to be bothering you. So I probably will reach out to you individually if you've answered this to make sure we actually attack that, because complicated is also like, what exactly do you mean? Without necessarily telling me your life story, unless you want to, I want to make sure that we are attacking exactly what you need to know, which is why, again, this is a bigger thing we can do later on as well. And the other one that we didn't go to was the sharing memories with your child when they're too young to remember. Complete caveat, I'm actually going to be adding this as a second workshop. This is specifically because there are members in our previous session which we didn't focus on this. I wanted to give this to them because I know it's very important to them. I'm going to offer it to you too as an additional workshop. If you're part of the premium package, you will get that second workshop for free. Okay, I want you to write that down and remind me of it. I'm going to write down 2 in my notes. You're going to be getting 2 workshops for free. Okay, not just 1. We'll get that later. So these are the bonus specialty topics. And I'm not going to go into the first workshop. That's going to be a surprise. So let me get back up a little bit. Let me know also if at any point this is too much, Rachel. Let me ask you. You're going to be here for the next kind of sessions. Which one resonates with you the most?
The problem is that the problem is that
you don't even have to be.
They all do, but I think reclaim your time is going to be a big. That's huge, and I think for me the importance with the embracing the solo parenting, it is important to acknowledge that we're not going to get it all right. There are going to be days when we feel like we fluff up, but it's about not beating yourself up and saying, right, tomorrow's a new day, start again, have another go, and then there's people here that will support you. I think for me that's huge, because there's so much. Well, I can only speak for myself, but there's so much pressure to get it right.
Yeah.
And for me, even as I'm sure you read in my Facebook post yesterday, I'm trying to make Rob proud, do Rob proud, and the pressure I'm putting on me, it's like, oh, you got to get it right, and you don't always get it right, but then that's life, life. You don't always get life right. So yeah, I'm in one respect, I'm not surprised those topics came up as the big ones, because they are, they're huge. But yeah, and finding inner hope, that's a really good. I'm really glad that's there.
These are big topics. Again, as you mentioned too, I'm not surprised a lot of these came up. They are topics we've talked about before. They are things I've been working for years with people. And again, I don't want you to be shy away too, Rachel, because if you've been to some of these, you're still going to get more out of it, because I'm adding to it all the bloody time, because this is what I do. I add too much. I don't know if you've seen any of my sessions. I over prepare for our sessions. I have 6 or 7 points and we get to 2. I'm like, I'll get to these next time. So I have to. right?
You know, for anybody that, you know, I mean, all right, this isn't my first time, but there is absolutely no hesitation in coming back for a second or a third or a
Oh,
fourth or a
absolutely.
10th time, because I genuinely believe that you will get something. There will be a new nugget of information every time round that you won't have, not that you wouldn't have talked about, but maybe I haven't heard, or I haven't heard it in the same way,
Yeah,
or I
yeah,
wasn't ready to hear it, or, you know, and
yeah.
there's all different things like that of, so, you know, it's never a rehash of the same information. There's always, I know you do so much reading, you do so much learning, and you bring new ideas and new research all the time, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, don't think that, oh well, if I've done Finding Inner Hope once, it's going to be the same
No,
session. It
again, because I
absolutely
learned from you guys too, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff I've picked up, and then that's why I want to bring the fact that I've been doing this for 6 years. This is not just me saying I know this stuff. I've been picking up stuff from other parents and other mothers, and like this for 6 years now, right? I mean, you're a community, and we learn from each other. Like, again, who knows widows and solo parenting more than widows, right? And I think I actually want to speak to that really quickly. Even if you have gone through some of these things in even other therapy programs, even if you're going through these other grief support programs, I will guarantee you that this you're going to get something different out of this. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this is because everything I've been learning, everything I'm teaching, it is always curated and refined for you, my audience of solo parents who are also widows. Okay. This is why it's so important that, I mean, grief, again, like if you talk about grief, I cannot get over. So, okay, social works are fantastic. Therapy is fantastic. All of this. Good, 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 good. If you want somebody who really gets like how to really apply these things in actionable, real life, tangible ways that you can fit in between loads of laundry, right? This is why, yeah, and that's why the accessible thing I want to bring up later on too, which I think we're actually getting to the closest to it. Oh, really quick. No, we're not there yet. So again, I love this. The why, I gotta bring this again. All right, so I love this. And I'm Rachel, I want to see what you think about this too. So blue isn't even an option, right? I'm not yet prepared to step out of my social isolation. That's not even an option. Nobody has picked that. So I'm going to leave you a heads up now. Even if you're not here right now, I'm going to be emailing you or contacting you, or Jen's going to contact you, or Rachel's going to contact you and say, hey, you're right there. You told us that you are ready to at least explore new ideas. Okay. So the next thing I thought was fantastic is that the 41%, obviously they have explored other widow groups and they haven't found the right fit yet, which means to me, Rachel, that they are open to the idea of getting new experiences, getting new ideas, getting new perspective. They're just looking for the right fit, which is fantastic. And I'm going to bring up why I'm going to address this in my guarantee. Okay. So that's just for you guys later on. And then the 50 with the 50, what's that? 58? I have to go back. Yeah, I think it's 58.3%. Where initially venting brought solace in other groups, but I'm now seeking a more constructive and supportive environment. I mean, that's just us, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
I love seeing this. What do you think?
That's amazing. I'm actually so impressed that blue wasn't an option for people. And that's heartwarming, really, because,
Yeah,
you know, people are then thinking, right, okay, if you're looking at the blue bit, you're still in your, you know, but for have 58%, you know, just seeking a more constructive and supportive environment. Support is the bottom line of
yeah,
this group. And you know, I can speak from personal experience. I personally haven't been supported anywhere else like I've been supported here, and that's without shadow of a doubt. So that's really, it's really good to see that people are open to the idea, um, and you know, hopefully we can be the right fit for them. I think there's a lot of there's lots of different personalities. There's a bit of everything, something for everyone, I think, in our
There
group.
is. But and we're also, I mean, I can't keep talking about this, but when I first started doing this 6 years ago, I was one of the only people. Like we did, I think 4, maybe 5 of us on Instagram. I went away for Instagram. I went to Facebook, and then I was like, it was pretty small then. Like there wasn't very many widow groups now. I was the only widowed solo parent group out there, as you probably know, Rachel, because you've been from the very beginning. And now, if you look around, thankfully, it's becoming a bit more aware. People are being more vocal about it. There are more groups out there. There are more niche. But there are things like, young and widowed and extremely young and widowed and widows dating and men who are like widowers. And it's all over the place. And yes, there are other widowed mom groups out there. Like, absolutely. But this one is so different because of the personalities that we just cultivate and we have here. It's the realness, it's the authenticity, it's the I'm going to get down the brass tacks and tell you if there's like something like brass tacks, no sugarcoating, but here's how you get out. And it's not false condolences, it's true empathy. How do you get out of your hole? Right? We know that. Okay, I love this. We're going to talk. We're actually getting close to the 2-hour mark, and I still want to go through the different bonuses at the end. So I want to breathe these out again, like I did before, Rachel. These are the 2 questions that we need to answer if we were to join us and rise like a phoenix. So the first one is calendar countdown syndrome. The anniversary is coming. How to normalize it, and asking other family members to be dads, like father-daughter dances and the like. There is the time frame and structure. There is the how to manage the income cut from 2 to 1, how to better face the kids' milestones alone. How do you find time to grieve when drowning in toddlerhood? How do you bring up daddy to your 2-year-old knowing it will cause sadness for the rest of the day? How do we navigate the physical sensations that come along with grief, even as we are moving forward? For instance, anxiety, triggers, PTSD, and the physical sensations such as fatigue, headaches, muscle cramps, and spasms, things nobody generally talks about or associates with grief. I'm pretty sure that was Jen. She told me that was her. My husband and I were divorced about a month before he died. He was an addict and walked away from the marriage. Wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but necessary for the kids and my safety. That being, and I don't want to go back. It's right, it's more. That being said, is a group for me, considering that technically we were not married. I am also wondering if I will be alone forever, because right now that doesn't sound too terrible to me. Lots of things there. Ideas for keeping memories alive, how to prepare for special events and milestones without them, strategies for dealing with very young children with no support, how to explain what happened as a young child who is currently too young to understand growth. What are your expectations of participants? What time commitment would be best? How to know I am doing correct thing? How to handle situations that, oh my goodness, how to situations that seem overwhelming? How do I get my child? I don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? How do I get my young adult child to feel more comfortable with me dating, being in a new long-term relationship? What do you do when you sell your last asset, send your child abroad for a job offer? 2 days later, she sends you home a letter from the employer stating she must not come to work because they don't want to work with her anymore. As a widow with 4 kids, one at tertiary and at risk for being kicked out of the regular. I'm not going to go through this. I understand what you're going through. I just want to stop because it's getting to the venting point, which is fantastic. That's what I more one-on-one. I, off the top, before I let you get into this, Rachel, I'm going to let you think about that a lot. There are a couple different things that came up off the bat. First of all, the calendar countdown syndrome, which goes down to the milestones, which goes down to where does it go down? There's a few of them brought up the idea of milestones and the anticipation and how do you do it. That has come up. What else has come up to me is oh my goodness, the how to find time to grieve while drowning in toddlerhood. Do you see my hand coming up here? How do you bring a daddy to a 2-year-old knowing it will cause sadness for the rest of the day? The person who put that in, I do want to talk to you separately about that, because I want you to realize, and I'm sure you do too, that there's 2 separate aspects of this. One is the how to talk to your 2-year-old about their father, about the memories, about how you bring them up, how do you bring it, integrate it into their lives when they have no natural memories, because that's my experience. I also want to identify that the second aspect is the sadness. You're not talking about your kid here, because your 2-year-old's going to bounce in and out of grief. This is just what they do. Kids grieve differently, and I have a whole different like experiencing different program on that. You are talking about sadness for you. So you were talking about sadness either because you can't, what I was talking before, you can't put a top back onto it again. There could be sadness because it's complicated. You could be anger. This could be grief. It could be guilt. Whatever it is, I know you're talking about you and how you deal with that, and that's on your own resilience, and that's finding you again. So there's two separate things. I want to clarify with that, and there are answers for both. Okay, as well as the time find to grieve, because that's part of it. The other thing I want to bring up really quick before I go in, again, the young children thing that come up. There's two things, Rachel, before. I know, I got two things, and I'm going to circle back to another one. The second one I want to talk about is where to go? The navigate physical sensations. Yes, you are right. And this is one of the ones that is not part of the questions above, the topics. As you go through my system and my support system, you'll know that I have different sections of how I help. One of the main things that I do talk about, besides proclaim yourself, is also about how your heart and your mind split apart when you go through trauma. And your heart saying one thing and your mind saying the other thing, and you're in the middle going, I don't know what's going on, which is where the brain fog and the indecision and the world's going to collapse. And oh my God, there's so much about there. There's a third part of it, which is the body, and how, yes, it does actually affect us. I did a big training on this last summer. It was 3-event training. It was there was a heart section, there was the mind section, and then there's a reconnect. I do want to do this again. I want to expand upon that, and I'm going to bring in the body. And I have a couple experts that I've been talking to, which are going to help me with this, especially because I'm not a body expert. I have, off the top of my head, I can tell you that I have someone who is a nutritionist specialist for grief, which is pretty specific. And she has given me some very hard and fast surprises of what you should be doing to help yourself, which I want to integrate. So that is something. It is a much bigger aspect. So, which is, we're not going to get into it here, but I will reach out to you about other events. The reason why I want to bring this up is because there is more than just this program. There are more aspects that you will have access to that I can share with you. But right now we are just focusing on the group. Okay. Because there's so much. So I'm going to stop there. Rachel, I'm going to let you say something here. Love everything that we just talked about right there. Of the two questions, which one resonated with you that you'd like to speak about?
I think for me, I absolutely did not. I completely underestimated the physical side of grief. And it surprised me. There were at least 2 occasions where my GP had to talk me down from the fact that I thought I was dying, because I thought I was going to have a heart attack, because I had chest pains, and then I had, horrific headaches, which then triggered because my husband died of a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage, and then it's like, oh my God, is it going to happen to me? And then it just snowballs. If you let it just snowballs. And the physical side of grief is draining. It is soul destroying sometimes. And the triggers and the anxiety, they can come from nowhere. I was in the middle of town talking with my friend, sat down in the middle of a busy town centre, and all of a sudden I was in floods of tears. I was inconsolable, and there was little to no warning. So I think that for me is the massive, because I so underestimated the physical side of grief.
Yeah.
It's and to all intents and purposes, that calendar countdown, it's like, oh, it'll be so long, it'll be this, it'll be that. And you're either looking towards something or you're looking back at something. But either way, there tends to be a timeline of things that happened before and after. The calendar and the clock and the time seems to be much more defined, I found.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry, sweet. I don't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to really, again, really quickly. I'm trying to do this. There's so much other things here, like there are things here I want to. So everybody that has responded to this, first of all, I want to tell you right now that I am going to be responding to you directly as well to at least give you a little bit of some help for that particular thing. But again, this just opens the door up. Yeah, we understand. We are getting there. And I just want you to know that I am listening to you. I'm going to get back to you. So the next thing that came up is how interested will you be in meeting weekly? 50% of you said you were open to meeting weekly. And then 28% said absolutely 5. So I'm going to reach out to you individually. There might be a change of structure. It depends on you guys. Right now, the way we are working is that we get together once a week. It does go into 2 hours. Most of the time, we're actually almost right on time for this one. I just need to finish up at the end. But we are also thinking about making it. I'm also thinking about trying a different system. So we're going to have maybe maybe like an office hours kind of idea. So instead of us sitting down for 2 hours, because it'd be a stretch, more of we've been working on this, check in, very quick. It's going to make like a stand-up meeting if you want to use project management terminology, just to keep things going. And that I think is very almost like it kind of I want to keep the flow too, because I want to be here for people who can and want to be here for longer sessions. And I also want to be here for a check-in for people who can't, because that has come up as well, but they still want to participate. And I'll get into more of the accessibility aspect and as I go through how the program is structured now. And then really quickly, I want to go through this. And again, I'll go back to you individually. What would make Rise Like a Phoenix easy? Yes, for you. So I keep doing that. How does this work? Understanding. I've been diagnosed with MS during the fall of my Phoenix. So definitely the understanding is there. We've just talked about the body issues. I don't have MS. I don't think anybody else in the group has MS. However, chronic pain is not not a stranger, I gotta say, for certain members of the group. And I could also, if this is a thing for you personally, if you want to work one-on-one with me for that or take advantage of that, we can dive into it more. Already involved in the program. Hooray! Pricing. We will get into pricing. There are changes there. If it correlates to my schedule and is financially able for me to do, then yes. Again, we will get into that next. If it was virtual, yep. If it fits into our schedule, we can work around that too. What we used to do, it's hard to find things to add things to our calendar. I totally get that. Again, there's going to be accessibility changes and additions this time for you. One of the things I want to bring up is that right now we are on Fridays at 12:30 p.m. We have had in the past changed the time to accommodate the people who are committed to come to it. I don't want to commit to a time right now because I don't think it's fair for the current members. But if you are committed and you sign up for it, I will make an effort to make sure that we can make it fit for you. Okay. And even if it's just like, we'll make something work. Okay. Because again, this is for you. Flexible participation. We will get into that. It already seems to be agreeable. Hooray! Free. Not happening. I've tried, guys. That's when I first started. First of all, it's draining for me. Second of all, it's draining for you because no one gets any foothold. The same things keep coming up. The venting doesn't go away. There's no accountability. And honestly, and I hate there's whole philosophy of trying to get my head around. If you want to put something in for yourself, you have to put the money down because, and it sounds really woo-woo, but it's not. it's energy. It's saying, I am doing this. I have to commit to this. I have to make sure I get my money's worth for me. And it's difficult sometimes for these type of programs because I used to work in education. I'm a project manager. I like chink, 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 chink. So my specialty when I was in education was quantitative. And what that means is that plus one equals two. I know that if I'm putting my money in, I'm going to get a two at the end, right? That's something you can put something. This is difficult. This is difficult because like, how do you measure that? I do have ways to measure that so we can see how you progress, even though there is not like, and again, it's very different, but I will guarantee you that there is going to be movement. And in order to do that, you have to commit. We will put our money down for our kids all the time. I was just showing at the very beginning of this presentation, I got this stupid coffee thing, which is amazing. And I love it. But there was so much guilt behind it. What am I doing now? I'm not using I'm not going across the street to buy coffee. I am using that thing. I'm going to get everything I can out of that thing because it cost me money. I would have put and said something else. Same thing kind of thing is here. And it's respect for yourself to know that you can empower yourself by knowing where you're putting your value. And it also empowers people in the group because they know they can depend on you. Okay. It really is a give and take. So that's my big spiel on it. It took me a long time to get that way. Right, so Rachel? If I had more time in my day, I can address that. We will get there. Again, time doesn't necessarily mean motivation, but I'm also figuring out ways to make it that time for you and to help you figure out that time. The fact that I will get honest opinions from people I never met. Yes. Yes. You have to answer that. Rachel, I don't know if you're there or you actually had to do your own kid thing. Are you there? Did you take off? Oh, you're there. Okay.
I am here.
Sorry, I don't mean to. If you need to go for your own private time, let me know too. I can totally carry this on my own shoulders.
No, it's fine. I just had to mute myself because I was receiving a call that I had to take.
Oh, perfect. Okay, see? Do it. Like, this is what we're here for. I will just keep going. You can come back when you want to be. I don't know if you've seen any of that, heard any of that. A lot of it has to down to really time and money, right? It's time and money. It's two things I can actually address later on and when I go through the pricing structure, because there are different changes. There's accessibility, there's a flexibility. But I can talk about how I can make this for you or how you can do this for yourself. Rachel, I can't talk to you. Like what made Rise Like a Phoenix not just a yes for the first time, but a yes every single week for you? What made it worth to put your time and energy into it?
Because it is absolutely value for money, because it's what you get out of it. You can't put a price on that. And I know that you work very hard to do a fair pricing structure. And yeah, if you could do it for free, you're the sort of person that would do it for free.
I have, and I burnt out. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it. But it what you put into this,
yeah.
It is about putting a price on our own future, on moving forwards. But the very reason that I keep coming back is because of the camaraderie and what I learn, not only about other people, but what I learn about myself and how things can change and how adaptable we can be and how we can stay standing through all these situations that not everybody goes through at our age. People say widows and you think 80-year-olds sitting there, and some of them are, but some of them are not. And but that, going back to that is why I keep coming back, is because it's such a lovely, like-minded, open-minded group where you can just be. And like I say, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, It's hard. I mean, that's really self-directed too, right? And I can help you all right. One point I need to make because I need to, and I don't think I've shared this before. I have other people come up to me sometimes and say, like, this is if you're trying to help somebody, why aren't you doing it for free? If you're trying to help somebody through their grief, why do it free? And yeah, you can. And there are free groups out there. And we've talked about accountability, but you know why? Honestly, Rachel, I'm not doing this because I want to get like rich quick. Like this is not quick. What I'm doing is I'm making this. I have a business structure together. You know why I do this? Because only widows know what other widows are going through, which means everything I get from this group, every penny I get, yes, part of it is supporting me and part of it supporting my kids. But you know what? How it happens? I turn around and I get more research or I get more things. And you know what else I want to do? I want to hire you. I want to give you financial things to be able to help you go on your feet because if you can help spread this to help other widows, I will help support you. Right. And that comes from paying it forward as well. So if you're having problems too, thinking like, what if I can't do this? I can't justify it just for me. Think about the fact that you're actually giving back to the best community because as you put more into it, we're learning from you too. And that maybe you can get something out of it and you can help down the road and I can help you. Right? Does that make sense? I know. Okay, I just want to go in that because again, it's something I wanted to make sure that people realize I'm not here for the money. I know I shouldn't have to say that, but it's true. Which gets to the next thing, and I'm gonna be so about this because I've made some changes. Guys, I am so thrilled with you. I am so hyped, and I never am hyped about I usually kind of skip over my pricing structure. This time it is different more than ever I have before. And I'm so excited to share it with you. I want to share it with you now because I am doing something I have never done before. Am I frozen? Please don't tell me I'm frozen. Okay. Computer. Oh, come on. I don't want my computer to die now. Give me a second. Blah, blah, blah. Sarah's complaining about tech. It's one of those, the talking about COVID and all the different changes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Seriously? It just freaking died. Oh, okay. Oh, no, here it is. Good, 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 good.
You're still with us.
Good.
Keep talking.
I gotta find where I am now. Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This technical things. Okay, let's make it easy. Yes. So I'm going to go into this. There you go. Let's add to the stage again. Okay, let's make this an easy yes. Okay, we've already talked about this. We're going to find the time, personalized support, prioritizing your own sanity too. I think that's so important. But the chaos of solo parenting, it's chaotic. It's exhausting, right? And be able to find that time for us, not just for ourselves, but for our sanity and to make sure that we're not going to lose it on our kids. And if we do, we know how to pick ourselves up and try this again. Like I co-parenting means nuts. Like I don't know if anybody else's experience, but I was with my kids for over 100 days straight during COVID. And it was like a 4-year-old, it was like 4 years ago. Yeah, 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. And it was insane. And I don't want to do that again. But it was definitely that idea of my sanity. And we have to do it. We have to reach out. And I don't care if your kids are like babies or toddlers or my age or Jen was able to like a teenager, you need your own sanity. And it's funny. I'm not going to go into this. I can go into this. I am distracting myself, guys. Okay, so I want to explain to you how I've done it this time. And Rachel, this is a new thing for you. I'm trying to make this as successful as possible, and I've reached out to a whole bunch of you. I've gotten things back. So I'm going to start from lowest to top because I know a lot of people. I did a lot of thinking about this. I know a lot of people, and they talk about what they can give. They go from highest down to low. I want to make you. I don't want to scare you. Okay, I want to make this seem like I am there for you every step of the way up so you're comfortable. The first tier is the bottom, it's the essentials. Okay, what the group basics are. So we're still gonna get the weekly topics with the resources and the guidance. If there's any kind of workbooks that come out, you're gonna get those. If there's any kind of worksheets, you're gonna get those. You still get access to the private Facebook group. We are moving eventually off Facebook, but you will get access to that. So you'll be there with us whenever you have to have a question about the workbook, or if you want to get in touch with us, you can do it through there. You're also going to get a access to the on-demand video replays. This includes the current session that we just did, or the current session that we have for the weekly, and also gives you access to the past 2 years of past sessions. Okay. There are some of them, again, I'm going to caveat, some of them are so much older, so it's not quality isn't there, but the content is. You're going to get transcripts and audio playback. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that it's accessible to you. And I know from doing not just my group coaching, but working with educational content, the demand for just audio learning is skyrocketing because you can listen to it as you're doing the dishes or the laundry or whatever the hell you're doing. I swear, right? This is honesty. You're also going to get transcripts if you're more of a reader when you do that. You also have the video replay. So there's 3 different ways you can do it. Something that I want to go on later on to the group sessions. I'm going to be breaking for if you're part of the lower. Wait, I'm going to stop. If you're lower tier, you get the whole replay of the 2-hour session that you usually do. Okay, you're not going to be part of the one-on-one. You're not going to be part of the live. You're not going to be there for the one. You can be there. You're going to get the transcripts. You're going to get the video replay. So you'll get the information. You're just not part of the group. Okay. You also get the additional support. So you're going to get the new life priority planner. That's going to help you understand where your priorities change from where you were before to where you are now. Is what I start all my clients with to give them the bare bones to start with. You're going to get all associated workbooks that we have for those sessions and not for previous sessions. You're going to get a Voxer access with 48-hour response time. If Voxer doesn't work, we can find some other things, maybe WhatsApp, and kind of people are going away from Voxer. You're going to get access. You're going to get support, like some kind of office hours. You're also going to get access to the private Phoenix YouTube channel, which is this is now streaming live in the public. There's a private channel just for you guys, which means it's vulnerable, which means you are safe in there too. Okay. The add-ons, you can add on any kind of the quarterly interactive workshops that we do at the end of each big session. So you can add on those as well. And then I don't want to overwhelm you with all the other add-ons, but this is the basic tier. Okay. So for that, I've decided to do, and this is doing different research and everything. I don't want to help. I hate trying to adjust myself. You can do a one-time payment of $347 for that 8 weeks, which will give you everything that I just talked about. Or you can split it up into a payment plan of $97 for four separate payments. Okay, so we can spread it out to make it easier for you. That is there is an accessible option. I want to make it sure it actually fits into your point. I just as a caveat, and I hate doing this, but I want to do anyway. I have done a lot of research on this. What I am giving you for value is actually more than a lot of my competitors out there. Actually, all of them, and I might lower. I have a lower price point too. So again, I'm doing this as well to make sure that it's accessible to you. This is what it is. Okay, that's tier 1. That is the basic bone. If that's what you want, that's what you can get. Up to you how you want to do with it. The next one up there, where'd it go? Tier 1. Where's tier 2? Now it's not even showing. Hello. Where's tier 2? Oh my goodness. I might have to go to my other spring slide sheets. The essentials. I'm going to do this live, guys. There we go. All right, let's do I'm going to switch to my other thing. So it's not going to be as pretty, and I apologize. Apparently I did the wrong slide set. Swear to God. Okay. I was on track until my son had a thing. Promise you. Okay, tier 2. That's the lower 2. Okay, so the first one. So this is the high tier. Okay, what you're gonna get? You're gonna get the weekly online group meetings. You're gonna get access to us actually having these interactive group meetings. This is the core and the joy of this group. The interactivity where you can get to bounce off each other. We just went through that, all about having that back and forth, about having some kind of feedback from what you're doing, of getting people there in the moment, there for you. That's included in this weekly online group meetings. This is the only time you're going to get this. Okay. We're going to get the weekly topics. Okay. You're going to get the private Facebook group. You're also going to get the quarterly interactive workshop. You're going to get that as part of it. So it is. And also later on, you're going to, sorry, don't look at this right now. Ignore this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you anyway. You're going to get an interactive workshop, which is part of it. You have options later on to have other workshops. Because you're a higher tier member, you're going to get them at a discount. You're going to get the grief journey assessment. This is so very important, and this is why it's part of the Phoenix Plus membership right here. What this is, and I can go on for grief. I'm sure you've heard of them. We call them the 5 stages of grief, or the 7, or the 12. I've heard different things, but I swear to God, they don't apply to grievers. Okay, they don't. And if you look at it, if you go back to find out who created these things, the 5 stages of grief were created for people at the end of their mortality. They're for people who are going to die, and they have to understand how to associate it and accept it. It is not made for the people who are continuing after grief. That's a whole different thing. Okay. And the widow, what I go through is I have so many different trainings on this. The assessment will go through all the different phases that a widow goes through. Okay. And there are different mindsets. And again, there's no step by step because grief doesn't work that way. But there are similarities. You can kind of bounce around back and forth. What we're going to do, we're going to look at that. We're going to see where you are in that line, where you are in that, where you are in the journey, and then how to help you be aware not only of that, but how to go to that next steps. Okay. This is such an important thing. This will also be supported by the priority planner. Together, they work beautifully together, which again, this is why it's part of the hire. You get all associated workbooks. So not just for the current session, you're going to get all the workbooks from everything that we've done. Not to overload you, there's not 5 billion of them, because the ones that I put together are very specific. So what you're going to get is not going to just be like a sheet of paper. It's going to be like, I need to answer these questions, but because of that, there's not like a huge ton of them, but you are going to get them for the bigger topics that we talked about in other sessions. You're going to get the unlimited Voxer access. You're going to get the access to private Phoenix group. You're going to be part of an accountability group, which is going to be a separate group that actually have people like me and Rachel and Jennifer who are there to account for you and be there. So if you're going through something at 2:00 in the morning, you can get in touch with us. Okay. And we're here for you. You don't get that with the lower tier. You get that with the higher tier. And also what you get your onboarding one-on-one coaching call. Okay. This is also very important because once you do your grief life assessment and your new life priority, I will sit down with you to figure out where you are and how we can help you and what I think would help you the best from my years of coaching, and seeing where you are in your unique journey. Okay. This again is part of the high tier. This wasn't supposed to be shown up, so check it out. You got like a sneak peek here, guys. So usually the standard payment for this is going to be $9.97 for 8 weeks. There is a payment plan as well for $249 per month payment. I want you to ignore this. Okay. This is what I'm going to be doing for the next go around, definitely in the future. Okay. Right now, I'm focusing on this low income payment one because I don't even know how to figure out what that is yet. I don't think it's fair for me to put that structure in if I don't know. So as a gift, I'm going to be there's this one-time payment is actually the lower income price. Everybody's going to get this if they sign up for this session. It is a one-time payment. It's $697 for 8 weeks, or you can do the payment plan for $197 per month. This is to make sure that you get your foot on the door. This will not be offered again for everybody. So I want to make sure that if you want to make sure you get this lower payment to take advantage of it. There is a discrete accessible option. To be completely honest, that was going to be the low time income payment for when we go forward. So this is not going to be available to you unless you really have a dire need and you really want to be part of the group. If you can tell me and I can see that you really want to do with this but there's no possible way, I know that there are barriers to this. I'm going to help you get down those barriers. We've talked about why it's important to put your value in. We can talk offline. This is on discretion. I can't tell you what those barriers are because I don't know you. But I can tell you that it's going to be a very, very, very small select group. Okay. Because I want to make sure you put the effort in. And the only way you're going to do that is if you promise yourself. So I'm promising you that you're going to get the full income payment. There you go. All right. So the next thing I want to go talk to you about is that it's not just all these different things I'm putting in here. Okay. This is, I kind of go back here and choose. Oh, there we go. So there you get to see what it looks like. You get the group basics, all of that. And you're going to be getting all of this, guys, in the replay. You're going to get the slideshow as well. So you get to see all of this to look at it. The sales page is going to be opening up later on today, so you can look at all of that. But here you go. This is what it is. There are going to be other things that are going to be additional if you want to. On the sales page, there's going to be talking about if you are a high tier member, then you have access to a lower price if you want to continue. There are other things you can add to it, but very briefly, I think this is enough information already. So just to recap really quickly, let me go back to, I do have a recap here because I know it's so much information. Hang on. So this is the really recap. I see if I can get back to where to go? Okay. So the higher tier, we have the full experience with the weekly coaching. You get the workshops, you get all the extensive resources, you get the one-on-one, you get part of the accountability group. Okay, this is really high tier because this is high touch. It is actually an insane value that you're getting right now. Okay, you're almost getting like premium one-on-one to this point, So just let you know that is there. The higher tier is there, and it really is something I would push you toward. You just heard why. If lower tier is more affordable for you, let's see if we can go back to this really quick so you can see it. No, I'm not going to. You can go back to yourself. If you want to go back, no, I am. Sorry, I'm kind of double thinking. That's the double. All right. Too many things open. I apologize. Okay, so I've made it into a way so it is available. We have a higher tier, which is more affordable for you. We have ways to make this work. If it's a time issue, I want to make sure that as you are going through this, everything we have is a replay. Everything we have, you want to get part of our accountability group, you can have us. Whatever tier you have, you're still going to be part of the Facebook community, which I will tell you is amazing. It's not going to be as high touch as the messaging system, but it's still there and it's awesome, and you'll have resources there for you as well. There are one-time purchases. If you decide from all of this that you cannot put anything in, we can go to one-time purchases. If there is something that we can look at a separate program that is smaller, that will suit your needs better, we can do that. Again, except accessibility-wise, you have everything I can do to make sure you can get what you do, even if you have limited time. I know what it's like to be a solo parent with babies. I know how to fit this in for you, and I'm listening to you. Okay, we can work together. The other thing I want to let you know, this is something I've never done before, and I don't even know I put it in the slides yet. It is that new. Let me just find out here. Oh, there's too many tabs. All right, I'm going to tell you even before I get to the slide. I know how difficult it is to find a group that fits you. I know how difficult it is to find a space to launch into if you don't know. I want to take that risk away from you. How am I going to do that? I am going to do a leap of faith. So I can show you that you can trust me to do our group to be a leap of faith too. How am I going to do this? I am going to give you a 7-day free trial. Okay. And this means that, I'm going to do business terms right now, so you understand how this works. It's this new. So I just don't mean a 7-day guarantee. I mean, if you decide to join the group, then I'm going to give you an invoice, and it's not going to be set until the day after the first meeting. Okay. You get to take advantage of the workshop. You get to take advantage of the workbooks, the little ones. I'll give you a little workbook to go with it. You're going to get access to the Facebook, kind of check it out. You get access to a little small part of what we are. And you're going to be everything I just talked about. You're going to get access to that for 7 days. If it doesn't work for you and you don't like it, if you don't pay and you don't show up to the next meeting, that tells me you're not interested. What that does for you is that you don't have to do all these bells and whistles to tell me that you're not interested. You don't have to go through that embarrassment. You don't have to. You can just slip away, just slip out of the crowd. But if you do, if the invoice, which is on, once you pay, that you will be, that's when you'll be invited. That's your ticket into the next sessions for that session. So it gives you a week to think about it. It gives you a week to try it, to test everything out. A leap of faith. I'm going to give you the invoice. I am sure you're going to love it. So I'm not even going to invoice you. It's not going to even due until until the day before the session after that. Okay. So your first session is free. After that, when we start really digging into it. And the other reason for this too is because if you're going to duck out, I want you to do it before we really start getting into the deep aspects, because that respects the rest of the group. So it's respectful to them as well. And I think that's very important. Okay. So that's where you get. I'm going to stop here because I think there's a lot of information. I don't know if there's nobody here. But I do want to say one more thing, which again, I haven't put into this screenshots. There is something as well, because you're here. If you're here for replay, if you're here for the live, I want to let you know too, if my computer's, Rachel, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My computer, I just can't see. Everything's frozen on me. So it's a good thing I didn't get slides ready, because you see them anyway. If once the doors open, okay, they're opening tonight. Once the doors open, you're going to have a 48 hours to be able to jump in. If you jump in, and I can't tell you what this is yet because my stupid computer just froze on me. I hate this. I will send you an email. Okay, I was going to present it here. I can't. Everything's frozen. I'm going to keep going. Because you are here, all you need to do is tell me you are here. I will not only going to give you back that resource that I promised you of either the fast ways to help your resilience, or if you're melting down and you're melting down and you need to get your feet under you, or if you prefer a longer term solution that you can use every time, whatever it is, you tell me what it is. I will get that free resource to you. Okay. My computer just froze, so I can't tell you what. Oh, I hate this. Where did it go? Yeah, let me give 2 seconds. 2 seconds. See if I can find it. I hate being on the spot like this, and my computer's frozen. I have to upgrade my computer. That tells you how, anyway, I got my son a better computer. Do I do myself my better computer? Okay, it's going to be up there. I'm going to keep it in suspense. My computer's broken. I can't talk to you. I'm going to email you tonight when the email goes out. You have 48 hours in there. There's going to be two bonuses that you're only going to get if you look at your email. There you go. My email is sarah@gooddaysareful.com. Okay. Look for that. If it's in your junk mail, look for it. If it's in your Google, that looks like an updates folder, look there. You're going to get access to a 48-hour 2 bonuses that I've never offered before. I'm going to offer it to you. So you're going to get everything we just talked about. You're going to get at a value price that I'm never going to offer before. You have the accessibility options there. Get these bonuses. What you're going to get, guys, honestly, you're going to get so much more out of that than anything you put in. And I will guarantee that. Okay. I will guarantee that. And the reason why I can guarantee that, because I have worked with widows for over 6 years now. I've had 90% of my people come back to me and say, hey, this works. You are amazing. The group is amazing. This is the one thing. And again, if you don't like it, we can talk. If you need something more accessible, we will find ways. If you decide that after the 7 days you don't want to continue, which I do hope you do, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of that out of it because you're already here, you have options to be able to get other events that are coming on. And if you're a high tier member, you'll get discounts on them. Okay. Probably forever. I'm gonna say that right now. There you go. I just give you another bonus. If you got a high tier, that's gonna be the one of the bonuses. If you join in for the next 48 hours, you're gonna get a 50% bonus on any of the resources or any of the programs that come out forever next. Okay. Boom. There you go. Value. Rachel, I can't see you. I don't know if you're looking at me right now. I kind of like this because I don't feel like I'm embarrassed talking to somebody about this. What are your feelings about this? What if you're gonna say to anybody, hey, I don't want this to be a barrier for you. I want you to speak from your heart. If someone was going to tell you and say, honey, I don't have the money. I don't I don't have the energy. I can't spend this on myself. I can't. There's just so much else going on. It's not a priority. I'm going to talk to you. Why would it be a priority? If you're going to talk to any of these women who we've already identified on this survey are just waiting, just ready to make that next step, what would you tell them?
I think that I would probably say that, you know, if you can't put yourself as a priority, then, you know, everything else goes on you being you, on you being able to function. And, you know, if there's a price, if there's a price barrier, then just, you know, Sarah is a really approachable person. Have a conversation, see what can be done. You know, if there isn't a price barrier, then I also will guarantee that you will get far more out of it than the money's worth that you put in, because this lady does so much for this group. And, you know, she doesn't take a compliment easily, but I'm giving one, so make way. She, you know, she's not just the founder member of this group, she is the heart and soul and life of this group. And you will never get a better advocate for widow solo parents than this lady sat right here. And you know, it's my absolute pleasure to still be working with you. And if anybody, if you've got no barriers, then go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, like that's an amazing offer of may I say, of the 7-day free trial. It's like, what's that about? But yeah, I mean, so take advantage of the free trial. Come meet us. Come see a group. If we're not your cup of tea, then that's fair enough. But if we are, I can tell you this group has made my life so much richer for the people that are in it and the friends that I've made that make a silver lining to a shitty cloud that we were dealt.
We need that.
We do. We absolutely do.
We don't give ourselves enough validation, and we need that. We need to give ourselves a pat in the back, you know, and it's so difficult to do. And I recognize this too. It is so difficult after, you know, I go back to one of the things we said earlier before this, but like when you first go through your widowhood and there's the funeral and they want you to come up there, they want you to speak, and so you have a eulogy. You probably don't even remember saying your eulogy if you even had a funeral. And then everybody like gives their condolences and their promises, and then they take off after the funeral. They don't show up. They don't know how to help.
Yeah.
They don't really want to. Like, even if they're there, they don't want to hold your grief. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to hear it. Right. And then a year later, after the milestone, or even like at the second year, you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to deal with this. There's nobody there. Right. And they don't want to hear it. And they want to like hear your same memories of your person again and again. And I'm like, tell them. Because that's all those are memories that you're going to keep with you. They're going to bring with your kids. And I swear to God that normalizing grief means that you can raise beautiful, glorious kids with the memories of their father supporting them, even if they don't remember them. I will tell you that right now, even if they don't have, like, I have proof, okay, because they'll come up. I want you to know that everything we are doing here, there is three things. There is the life of the widow, which is something. It is so big. There is the soul parenting aspect, which is not just helping your kids with all their chores and doing all the things that you never asked for on your own. There's also the trying to help them with their grief and knowing how to help them, because kids do grieve differently at different ages, right? Knowing that. And then there's the reclaiming your life part. There's there's trying to figure out what that new identity is. And this is where all this comes together under this umbrella, or this group. There are other options. This is probably if you're going to work, if this is a group work, if you want some group work, this is it is. Again, if it's accessibility, whether it has to be with price or time or resources, talk to me. Okay. We have everything here. Again, more value than I've seen anywhere else. Less price. It's ridiculous price what I'm giving you right now, honestly. And I want you to take advantage of it because, again, next time we do this, it's likely going to go up to what you saw as standard price. So that you got it right there. Okay. Don't tell anybody else that. That's just for you. I'm gonna stop this up. It's now 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We went over. I am going to be chunking this down, guys. So if you're here for the replay and you don't have 2.5 hours, you're going to get a chunk of what you need to know when you need to know it. So you don't have to wait for 2.5 hours. I'm going to be doing the same thing going forward with all our other programs. So every single, this is due for you, Rachel, too. Whenever we get together for 2 hours, because I know not everybody can be here for the 2 hours, it's long, and we don't have time ourselves. I'm going to be chunking it down. So you get to listen, especially to just what you want to listen to with the replay. So you can be here, and then later on, Rachel, if you're like, oh, me and Jen talked about that like an hour ago, I forgot what we said. Yeah, you can go to the transcript, and you can go back to the audio recording. I'm also going to be chunking it down for the actual videos, so you can go back and see it, and you'll be able to see your face, which I think is awesome too. You get like this, how we react to it. And even going back, replays are good too because you could actually get something you didn't get before talking about. Anyway, so that's new. So there's so much going on. I want you guys to take advantage of this because I can't see myself doing this ridiculousness again. Because this is a lot of energy. Rachel, thank you for being here.
You're welcome, my lovely.
Being here, even though you had to duck out. Thank you, anybody who is here for the live, who ducked in and ducked out. Thank you, anybody here for the replay. I'll be sending out an email later today with the recap. Probably not the chunked out versions until later next week. If you were come in and the first 48 hours, so what time was it now? Today is, I don't even know, 17th?
17th.
So the end of the 19th, end of day, I'm going to say midnight on the 19th, so 48 hours, you're going to get the bonuses that you're only going to see if you look into your email from me, sarah@thedaysarefull.com. You're going to want to see them because they're pretty juicy. Surprise, surprise. And you're going to get your resource. So look up your email because you also are going to get the free resource coming through. And then after that, if you don't jump on for the first 48 hours, do know that we are opening, the registration is open until the 26th. We are starting on the 27th. If that's when you start, you can join in, stay for the week. Don't like it, duck out before, was it the 4th? That's it, the timeline. So we got lots of time to choose. I would highly recommend, on my personal point of view, go for the higher tier. You get so much more value at a really ridiculous price that I just showed you. You'll get the 7-day guarantee. You get all the personal touch, guys. If it really isn't accessible, go for the lower tier. You still got a lot of value, but I swear to you that what you need, if this is for you, is that group coaching and that one-on-one, because it is magic. It really is, guys. And I honestly, I am thankful for your vulnerability, and I am honored once again that you trust me with it. So thank you. I love you, Richard. I love all of you. All right, before I sign off, how you doing, Rachel? Was that a lot?
It was no, it's amazing. You know, It is amazing. And for me, just as a last note, we are a lovely bunch of people, and come join us. Yeah. See what we can do for you.
All right, guys, I'm gonna shut off. I'll give you everything later. Rachel, I'll see you backstage, okay?
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.